Let's see, we're not quite live, but we're almost live. Yeah, are we live? We're live. I think we're live. I'm waiting for Michelle, but I think
I'm waiting on the computer.
We're live. So, hello everyone. It is Wednesday in the afternoon, and it is our healing time. It is Hands Around the World, and we're going to join hands, all of us, in a little while, and I'm going to be sending healing to all of you, but also we're going to be sending healing sort of to everyone in the around the world who is on my healing list. And I do have to tell you that my healing list is thousands strong. If you want to be on my healing list, you know what to do. Email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, and in your subject line just put healing, and then write a little note or your name or whatever. Please put me on your healing list, and as soon as you send that note, it's pretty much done. Michelle is very sharp at this. She'll, even as you're participating, if you ask, she'll put a note there, and as soon as we're done with the show, well,
I do it during the show.
You'll be on there. What did you say, Michelle?
I do it during the show.
Oh, she did.
As soon as you ask, I flip over and do it.
As soon as you ask, she pops over there and she puts you on there. So even as we're speaking, if any of you do request healing, please, and feel free to do that. But if you are watching this and you're not live watching it, email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Now let's get the business out of the way then, first of all. So if you would like a consultation, again, same email. If you would like to know more about our books, or if you'd like to order books, if you want to know more about healing, or if you want to know simply what I'm up to, what we're doing, and where we're going to be next, also please don't hesitate. Please email Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Don't forget to put in the subject line what it is you want. And also, if you would like to be on our mailing list, again, just put mailing list in there. We will not put you on the mailing list unless you request it, so don't worry. And we're not going to be sending you oodles and doodles of emails every day. That's not our way. And in fact, excuse me, sorry, what is it, 3 or 4 a week, or so, sorry, not a week, a month or something, or 5 a month?
It's between 5 and 6 a month.
So between 5 and 6 emails a month. If you want to be on my mailing list, just request. And also, again, getting business out of the way. There's one more thing, and I can't think for the life of me now. It's gone out of my head. It's just, what is it? That sometimers thing? It's not old timers. It's sometimers we call it here. We don't like to call it Alzheimer's. But you know how you have those memory lapses, and you're about to say something, and all of a sudden you open your mouth and it goes.
It's a senior moment.
One of those senior moments. You can have them even when you're in your early 20s. You can have.
I call those pre-senior moments.
Pre-senior moments. There you are. All right. So, what else? Oh yes. See, it's come to me. Give myself a minute. And also, we'd love it if you wouldn't mind subscribing when you go to YouTube, and subscribe, because the more people we have subscribing, the more those powers that be somewhere in the YouTube offices up there take notice of how many people that subscribe, and that just means that we're able to do more on YouTube. They allow us to do more. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I don't even I watch YouTube all the time, but I don't really put my stuff on there. I have my wonderful Michelle, and also I have my wonderful Al, who they put things up there for me. Right, so we'd like to say hello first of all to Grey Eagle, who is probably wondering when I'm going to stop talking and introduce him. He's standing to my right side as always. We have Cachorro on the sofa, very quietly sleeping. He's doing fine, and thank you all for asking. And of course we have our lovely Michelle. Say hello, Michelle.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, so I think we're ready. Are we ready?
I think we're ready. I don't know.
All right. Do we have any comments or questions before I begin?
Kay is on, and she says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Kay. All right. Anything else? Anyone else? All right. So then, now then, everyone. I did warn you, and tell my grandson every story begins with once upon a time. So I'm going to tell you a once upon a time story. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just touched it. I was like, what is that?
My knitting is in the way. I'm furiously trying to knit a sweater for Reese. I don't know why, but I'm way behind. I'm normally knitting 2 for Christmas. He's only getting 1 this year. I'm trying to think why that would be. I can't think why it would be, but it is what it is. All right, so let's see. So, are you sitting comfortably? Then I shall begin. Once upon a time, I had a patient whose name is Bob. And Bob had a brain tumour. Now, I may have mentioned him briefly before on 1 or 2 of our channels and in shows that we've done. Bob had a brain tumour. Now, Bob was, he was actually Bob the builder. He did building work and built houses and did all that sort of thing. And he did not believe in any of my stuff at all and made no bones about it. But he was diagnosed with a brain tumour. So his friends, lots of people said to him, you need to go and see that woman. You do realise that all over the world I'm known as that woman. Or some people actually say that English woman, because either they can't remember my name or they can't pronounce my name. Anyway, I'm known as that woman. So he was told, go and see that woman, and she has a healing centre and they're there every week, etc., etc. So he came with his wife, and he sat in a corner and watched. We actually did give him healing for a while at some point during the evening, and then, as we always did, we'd sit in a circle, and our patients and our healers, and for any friends who wanted to come along, they'd have a chance to ask questions, they'd have a chance to chat, they'd have a chance to say anything they wanted to say. And so Bob was actually very verbal from the word go about the fact that look, I don't believe in any of this. I'm only here because, my wife and my friends insisted that I come. And then he said, I'm a little bit disappointed because, quite frankly, he said, I did expect to see a broomstick in the corner of the room. Now, you can gather from this that Bob had a sense of humour, and it turned out that we got on like a house on fire. We really got on really, really well. And he started coming on a regular basis and found that healing was very, very beneficial to him, in that it relaxed him, it helped him, it sort of, really sort of made him feel that he was able to do something, or at least have a little bit of control over what was happening to him. Bob had at this point 2 major brain surgeries, and the tumour just kept coming back and growing, and he was very upfront by saying, look, I'm not expecting a miracle here. I just want to find out what this is all about, but I know that I'm dying. There are no cures, and the doctors had said he could have another surgery, but the result would be the same. So he opted not to continue with any more surgeries. Now, Bob, was a very down-to-earth Vermonter. A lot of people won't know what that means, but in Vermont they do the wood chopping. I hope nobody in Vermont is going to take offence at this, but they're country people, they're outdoors, they do the hunting, they do the shooting, they do the wood chopping. They're sort of very sort of macho kind of men. I'm talking about those Vermonters who are born in Vermont, and true Vermonters, not those like myself who were just visiting, because there's nothing macho about me at all. But anyway, so he was tough, and he prided himself in being a very tough guy. But to me, he was a pussycat, and we would laugh a lot, we would talk a lot, and very often, because I was busy, as we got to know each other better, and as I sort of started to visit the house and started to visit him as a patient at the house, as we got to know each other, he would leave the door open for me. So if I wanted to come in at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I often did, to visit with him and give him healing. He had a bed downstairs, his wife slept upstairs, and so I could just let myself in the house and tiptoe into his room, and 99.9% of the time he was awake and just wanting to talk. And so he would ask me all kinds of questions about what happens when you die, what happens, when, do you sort of, how do you travel, how does it work, how does this out-of-body stuff work. So he was a very curious person, and we had some very lengthy conversations at 2, 3, 4 and sometimes 5 in the morning. And of course it would take me 45 minutes then to get home and try and get some sleep before I had to work the next morning. But the time that I spent with Bob was worth every single second. So of course he was still taking medications, he was still having certain treatments, but I got a phone call one day, and I was told that he'd had a relapse and he'd been rushed to the hospital. So off I went to the Rutland, I don't know if it's called the General Hospital, but let's call it the Rutland General Hospital in Vermont. And when I arrived, Bob's wife was waiting for me in the car park, and she said to me, he sent me home, Rosemary. He doesn't want me here. He thinks it's his time. He thinks his time is coming, and he doesn't want me to see it. He doesn't want me to be around. But his mother's there. But he's so agitated because all he keeps saying is that he wants you. So I get there. Bob is in bed. The curtains are drawn around. You know how that is in hospitals. His mother is sitting by his bedside, and there was a sofa sort of along the wall next to the bed. So I indicated to his wife, why don't you take the sofa? The curtains are there. He won't know whether you're there or not. And if you want to stay, if you'd like to stay, take the sofa. So she took the sofa. So I went to Bob. Now his mum was on one side of the bed, so I went around to the other side of the bed, and they had the bars up so that he wouldn't fall out of the bed. And he was totally with it. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew exactly what he was saying, but he got this sort of bit of a raging fever, and they were worried about him, and so on and so forth. They put him on medication to just try and reduce the fever and to get him to be able to at least to walk, because he'd lost the use of his legs and so on. So there he is, and he's in bed, and I'm trying to get him. I'm sitting on sort of on the edge of the bed, but they had these bars up, as I've said, so I couldn't get that close to him. So at one point he's saying to me, this is it, I'm going. Well, I knew a little bit differently. This wasn't it yet. It wasn't quite his time yet. But he was convinced that it was it. And he said, I want you come with me. I want you to come with me, and I want you to tell me what I need to do. So I tried to get closer to him, and he kept holding my hand, and he kept trying to drag me over the bars of the bed, because he just wanted to be able to, for me to hold him, really. So at some point it became uncomfortable for him, and it was uncomfortable for me. So I decided, this is ridiculous. So I actually climbed onto the bed. I climbed next to him, and I just laid there and just held him. And we just talked all the way through the night until, the very late, early hours of the morning. And all the time he kept saying to me, okay, I think the train's coming, because this was his idea of, okay, this is my travel time, I'm going to get on the train, and off I'm going to go. He was so excited. He could barely keep his excitement in check. It might sound weird to you, but he was ready. Now, remember that Bob had had this brain tumour for quite a long time, so he was exhausted, he was mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. So the idea of, okay, it's happening now, I can feel it. And he started seeing people around him, his family and friends who had gone before him, he was so excited he didn't know what to do with himself, and I was the one trying to calm him down and say, okay, let's just relax and let's take it slowly. If the train is coming, so to speak, if the train is coming, you need to sort of be calm and you need to relax and so on. So all the time I'm holding him, I'm giving him healing, and eventually after several hours we both fell asleep. I actually kept waking up because a hospital bed, there's not much room in a hospital bed for two people, I can tell you now. So I was cramped, and I would wake up and feel my face on the bars of the bed, and sort of, you know, then turn over, and then I'd turn back and then get the bars in my face again. It was not an easy night, as you can imagine. And so now eventually Bob really goes into a good sleep, and of course I can't sleep because I'm too squished and squashed, but that was okay. So I held him. His mother had stayed all night. She and I were chatting a little bit. She was asleep with her head on the bed, and I think his wife was asleep on the sofa while all this was going on, and I was the only one awake when it came to about, I don't know, 6:30 or something. You know, hospitals, for some reason, they think that they need to wake their patients up really, really early. And so at 6:30 or thereabouts, I'm laying there awake. Bob's mum is asleep on Marilyn. She's got her head on the bed, sound asleep. Bob is asleep. I'm holding him, so he's in my arms and he's asleep. His wife is on the sofa, also asleep, and the curtains pull back, and the nurse takes one look at me in the bed with Bob. She knows I'm not his wife because his wife is on the sofa and they already know his wife. And she was so shocked, her face was so shocked. And I just smiled at her. I didn't know what to say. Okay, it's okay, I'm just his girlfriend. What do you say? Yeah. What do you say when, somebody finds you in bed with your patient in this way? And I smiled at her, and she sort of went shuttling off very quickly, and came back with another nurse, and the two of them sort of, kept looking at me, and I just went, shh, he's sleeping. And eventually they sort of didn't quite know what to make of it, but they smiled, and off they went. And I was there for another several hours with Bob through the day. Eventually he woke up and he was fine, and he realized that it wasn't his time yet. He was so disappointed because he was so absolutely certain that this was his time. But he was disappointed, but at the same time we talked about it, and I said, Bob, you can't rush the process. So he came out of hospital, and we went on for another 2 or 3 months after that. And at one point I thought, he was so philosophical about things. He was so fantastic and curious and interested in this whole process. And I said to him, Bob, what I would really love is, would you be willing to have a conversation with me that we can record? Because I really felt that he could so help other people with his attitude. He had the best attitude you could possibly imagine. And I said, would you be willing to sit in a recording studio with me, and we could just have a conversation about your illness, about your tumor, about any advice you might have for someone in your situation, about any advice you might have for the families of those people in such a situation with people who are dying. So he agreed. So I picked him up this particular day, and we're driving to a studio again in Vermont. I used this studio. This guy who ran this studio was an amazing guy, and so we're driving to the studio, and Bob said to me, wait a minute, we've got a problem. I said, what is it? Thinking, I hope he's not feeling ill. He said, I didn't get a script. And I looked at him, I said, a script? He said, yeah, you didn't give me a script. I said, no, darling, we're not working from a script. It's you, it's me, and it's whatever comes. You can talk about anything you like. If I ask you a question and you don't want to answer it, say you don't want to answer it. It doesn't matter if it's recorded, because this is live. It's all live, and I want people to hear your voice as you really are, not what I think you should say. So we arrive at the studio, and we start and we do our thing, and the guy who's doing all the recording and so on is absolutely fascinated with what Bob has to say, because Bob, he is brilliant, right? And he's explaining, if like, okay, I'm dying, so this is what I'm doing for my wife. I'm putting labels on all the things that she needs to know down in the basement. I'm leaving a little notes here and notes there. I'm doing this and this for my friends. He was really, really, talking about how we still have control. Even though we're dying, we still have control, and we can still help our loved ones. And of course, we have a long conversation about life after death, what he believes, and he's very articulate. Yes, he's a Vermonter. Yes, he's a builder, but boy, you couldn't get a more intelligent, more articulate person. You couldn't wish for anyone more inspiring, and he absolutely amazing. So, okay, so we recorded this CD, but the guy who's doing the recording said to me at the end, he said, I don't know quite how we're going to do this, Rosemary, because we only have, and I think I might be wrong, but don't hold me to it. He said we only have about 90 minutes, 80 some minutes that we can record. And he said, I think you've been talking for longer than that. I think you may have to come back and go through it with me and see what we need to cut out. And I'm thinking, I don't want to cut anything out. I want it as it is. And he said to me, well, there's not really enough for 2 CDs. He said, let me see how it goes. And he said, and I'll tell you when to come back and how many minutes we do have to cut out of it, and then you can come over and decide which pieces. But he said, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have to cut something out. And I heard Grey Eagle's voice. Of course, he'd been there the whole time, orchestrating the whole thing, of course. And so I felt Grey Eagle tap me on the shoulder, and he said, it's fine. It'll work out perfectly. So I say to this guy, I think it's going to be fine. I think you'll find it's probably will just make it just inside the 89 or whatever minutes that there are on this CD. And he laughed at me, said, well, I don't think so, but anyway, I'll give you a call. A couple of days later, I get a phone call from this young man, and he said, okay, he said, I don't know how you've done it, Rosemary. He said, it's exactly the right time. Exactly. We couldn't have done a second more. We could have done a second less, but it's the exact right time. That CD is called A Conversation with Bob, because that's exactly what it was. Bob lived for a little while longer. We had a beautiful party for him while he was still here. All of my team were on board. I had an amazing team of healers in Vermont, and we all loved Bob, absolutely loved him. We would do anything for Bob, so everyone was on board. Bob, yes, no miracle, except a huge miracle, because we've got Bob, we've got his voice recorded, we've got his advice, we've got his help, which I've sent to hospitals and hospices around the country, because, you know, if you know of anyone in this situation or a family in this situation losing someone, this is the most inspirational DVD that you could ever wish to listen to, truly. When my daughter heard it, she hates hearing me. She would never watch something like this. She wouldn't watch me talking to you guys, because she feels that she can't just, it's not my mum, it's not, and it doesn't sound like you, Mum, it sounds like a posh version of you. I don't know what she thinks I do with my voice, because I'm like this, I talk like this, but she says it's not you, and she said, and I just can't listen to it because it doesn't seem to be you, but still, she's coming from a daughter's perspective. So we were driving from Vermont to New York, and my daughter was with me in the car, and we just finished this CD, and I said to her, I need to listen to it before I sign off on it. So unfortunately, you're going to have to put up with it. I know you hate listening to me, but there we are. So she never said a word. We listened to it, still never said a word. And at the end she said, well, Mum, she said, that sounded to me like the best NPR interview I've ever heard. I think that was an approval. That CD and Bob have helped so many people. So who's the one giving the healing here? Yes, I was the healer, but Bob healed. Bob heals everyone he comes into contact with. When you hear his voice and you hear his conversations, he gives healing everywhere he goes. He's an amazing, amazing guy. And yes, you know, he did pop his clogs, so to speak. But even as I'm talking to you, I'm quite surprised, really, because I haven't seen him for a long, long time. But I am catching glimpses of him, listening. I hope he likes this story, because healing is not just about healing the physical self. As I've said to you many times, healing is about healing of the mind, healing of the body, hopefully healing of the spirit. And Bob and his personality and his positivity and his perseverance and the things that he stood for are amazing. His mother is amazing. You know, I'm just very privileged to have met them both, and very, very privileged to have been a part of his life and a part of his death. That's my story, and it's the end. We all always start a good story with once upon a time, and we always end with the end. Do we have any comments or anything going on right now that we need to pay attention to before we go into our healing session?
We have a question that actually goes along with what Bob wanted to know. And it says, when you die, does someone come to escort you to the spirit world?
Yes, absolutely. Always. You never go alone. Your angels come. Your family are waiting for you. Your loved ones are waiting for you. You never, ever go on your journey alone, and you never arrive alone. Never. There's always, always someone around you. And even though Bob didn't get on the train at the end, he sort of got this in his mind that he was going to go on a journey that sort of in his mind he could equate with a train journey. It didn't quite work out that way, but he was very happy anyway. And he had all these wonderful friends, some of them very scary looking. There was one of his closest friends, big guy, really, really big guy, very intimidating. I remember walking through the hospital going to see Bob one time, and this guy and his wife were coming up, and I was a bit intimidated by it actually, and he just stopped me. He said, I want to talk to you. And I thought, and you know, not everyone agrees with this, not everyone approves of this. And I said, yes. He said, Rosemary, he said, just want to thank you. He said, Bob has talked so much about you, and you've given him so much, and as his friend, I'm thrilled to bits. So that was nice. It's always tough going into homes, going into hospitals. It's always tough going into families and becoming involved with families, because not everyone in the family might approve or might agree, but we do it anyway. And as I've said, I did not do it alone. My team were often there, and even my team in England, when they were over, came and helped me. But those midnight conversations, actually 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, yes, on a regular basis. Every week I would go at least once or twice a week to have those conversations with him, and he would lay awake waiting for me. Those were the best, some of the best moments of my life, and some of the best of the learning process that I ever had. Anyone else make a comment or anything?
Everybody else has said, hello, Annie did write in that she is having a very hard time this year with Christmas. After the loss of her dad and her husband, she feels very angry and she just wants it to be over, and she feels guilty for feeling this way.
Yeah, so you should. But it's normal. Not giving you a hard time here. It is normal. It's very, the guilt kicks in. We're alive, they're dead. We should embrace life, all that stuff. But it is perfectly a normal reaction, my darling. Don't be hard on yourself. It will get easier. Don't you hate when people say give it time? But I'm afraid that's what we have to do.
I've added her to the healing list already.
Great, good. All right, I hope you heard that. My darling, you're added to our healing list. Don't hold on to anger though, please, because anger is the most damaging emotion. Creates bitterness and jealousy and frustration, and no, anger is not the way to go at all. So please try, if you can, to let go of the anger. All right, let's have are you all ready? Are you sitting comfortably? Then we shall begin. Please sit nicely, sort of feet on the ground, sort of nice and straight, as straight as you can. Or if you want to do, by all means lie on a bed or whatever, however you want to do it. But we're going to begin with our breathing in through the solar plexus. Those of you who are unsure, you can go back and look at the videos that we've done before. This is one of many now that we have done. So please go back and check if you're unsure about how to do this. So I want you to sort of close your eyes, hands palms upwards in your lap, please, in a receiving position, feet firmly on the ground. Or if you're lying in a bed, relaxing, arms by your side. Again, hands, palms upwards, please, in a receiving position, because we're looking to receive healing, aren't we? We're looking to receive that energy that is surrounding us. And so breathing in through your solar plexus, breathe in nicely and gently and easily, bringing that breath up and up and up and into your chest, into your lungs. And hold, and then visualize that energy, that blue energy, flowing down your arms, flowing down into your fingertips and out through your palm centers. Dear God, please allow us to participate with you in the healing process. Allow us to join with that universal God force, that universal God energy that is out there for us to use. Please allow us, if we are wanting to send healing to others, allow us to join with you so that you know the best way that we can do this. Allow us to participate in whatever way we are able, either to give healing or to receive healing. And first, dear God, may we receive the healing that we need so that we are in a stronger place in order to give healing to others. Dear God, I will to thy will. So breathing in through your solar plexus, breathing in, and up, and fill your lungs, fill your heart, fill your mind, fill everything with that incredibly blue energy. Visualize yourself wrapped in a blue blanket. Visualize yourself being embraced by this blue universal healing color. If it helps, as you wrap that blue blanket around you, you can actually physically have a blue blanket if it makes you feel better, or it helps you to visualize better, visualize in an easier way. Visualize that blanket, which is threaded with beautiful pinks. Pink is the color of love. Blue is the color of healing. Green is the color of peace and harmony. And gold, of course, is the spiritual color, the color of God, the color of that spiritual, beautiful love that God gives to us. If it helps also, if you feel it's easier for you, visualize lying on a green lawn, facing a blue sky with the sun pouring down on your face and covering you with that incredibly warm and beautiful healing light. Breathing in again, breathing in through your solar plexus, eyes closed, and just allow that energy to flow through you. If it helps, visualize me standing behind you with my hands on your shoulders. Visualize me putting my hands in that one place that is so painful to you or so difficult for you to deal with. That place might be your heart, because you may be heartbroken. That place may be your tummy because you're having trouble with your stomach. That place might be your hands because you're suffering with arthritic joints. Whatever that place is, wherever that is, if it helps you, visualize my hands, visualize God's energy pouring over you and pouring into you. Breathing in more, and breathing in all that beautiful, incredible healing energy, that incredible God force that is out there for us. Breathing in and holding, and just allow the energy to flow through you, flow through your shoulders, down through your arms, and out through your fingertips. Now, when you're doing this on your own, 10-15 minutes is as much as you need. You can even do this just for 5 minutes if that's all you want, because when that energy, that healing energy, when it touches you, when it embraces you, it only needs a moment. It only needs that one small moment for you to be touched, to be embraced, and to be given healing. That God force that we talk about, that universal God energy that is out there, is for you. So breathe it in, absorb it. Don't be afraid to be greedy with it. Take as much as you want. Take as much from me as you want. I've got more than enough, and I know exactly how to replenish myself. So as much as you want from me, you can have. You won't drain me. I've got lots of this wonderful healing energy, more than enough for all of us. But you also have that healing ability within you. So, reach down into your heart. Know that your spirit is absorbing this healing, that the spirit is being fed by this beautiful healing energy that you are giving, and still with your eyes closed and breathing in through your solar plexus and drawing it right into you, filling your lungs, filling your heart, filling your mind. Hold it, and then allow it to flow again through your whole body, down and through your arms, into your hands, out through your fingertips, out through your chakra points here. Let this healing energy flow. And take a breath and relax. Now if you feel like stretching, if you feel like just sort of, just giving into that energy, just give into it all, just absorb it, feel good. You don't even have to listen to me anymore if you don't want to. You can just, if you want to go to sleep, whatever you want to do, just let yourself be a part of that energy. You can do it anytime you like, wherever you like. You can be sitting, you can be standing, you can be lying down. Anytime that you want to give healing to yourself, that is the way that you can do it. All right, now before we go to your questions, I do have something that apparently I can't remember doing this, but I promised that I might have some tips on arthritis, and all I can say is anything. This is me. Check with your doctor, check with your primary care physician, check with your health specialist, whoever it is. But this is my recommendation. Nothing from the cow. Simple. In other words, no beef. No milk, no cream. You're already thinking now, no ice cream, right? No cheese, anything from the cow, is taboo. This is for people who have arthritis. If you cut it out, now please don't think I couldn't live without cheese. I can't possibly do without my ice cream. We have soy milk, we have goat's milk, we have all kinds of milk, and you can. There are lots of. We have soy ice cream. We have ice cream made from goat's milk. Anything from the cow will aggravate or make it. It doesn't necessarily cause arthritis, but it certainly will aggravate the condition. Plus one more thing. Oh, here we go. Salt. Cut out the salt, my darlings, because again, it aggravates. So no milk, no dairy of any kind, which means no milk, no butter, no cream, no cheese. And when I'm saying all of those things, goat's milk, soy milk, there's another one I think that somebody brought out, I can't remember, but anyway.
Turmeric.
Pardon?
Turmeric.
Turmeric.
Yeah, the spice. It's supposed to be amazing for joints and help with arthritis like crazy.
Yeah, turmeric, it's that yellow stuff. I like it in my rice personally, but yeah, it is supposed to be very good. Go online and take a look and see the recipes that are out there. But I personally, having dealt with many people who have been crippled with arthritis, will recommend this nothing from the cow thing. I also have he was a patient of mine when he was 15 or 16 years old, and he's now well into his, whatever he is, 40 something, he's coming up to 50, suffered severe eczema, cut out the cow, cut out dairy, which is what I suggested to him, completely cleared up. Now every now and again he'll cheat, and every now and again he'll have a glass of milk, or he'll have some ice cream or a piece of cheese or whatever, and it comes right back. That eczema will come right back. So that just shows you that it really does work. And there are lots of other things that you can go to. Again, please check with your doctor, check with your healthcare provider. Do not do as I'm saying to you unless you've sort of checked it out, and make sure that your healthcare provider, your dietitian, your doctor, whoever, your primary care doctor, whoever it is, approves of this and gives their stamp of approval. Please just make sure. What are you looking at, Michelle? Michelle's now pulling a face. So what's going on here? Do we really want to know?
It's Addison. She's confused on how to make a can of soup, so I had to just spell it out for her.
Well, all right. So we're not going to Addison. I'm sorry. We're sort of keeping this here right now. Then. So, are there any questions? Any comments? Anything anybody wants to know? You do realise that if you're not commenting or you're not saying anything to me, that'll be it. We'll be done. All right? Yes or no? So, all right then. Well, that's it. So that's it for our show today. Please remember YouTube tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also we are going to be doing our Everything Is Attitude show on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it's a lot for you to remember, so if you want the schedule, if you want to know more about us, if you want to know more about what we're doing, if you want to know more about my new book, A Walk in the Clouds, whatever you want to know, if you want a consult, if you want to know more about the CD with Bob, email us. Anything at all you can email us about. Please be nice, please be kind, do not be rude to us, because we'll just delete you if you are. Just email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, and we shall do our very best to answer you. I keep seeing one or two things popping up. What's popping up?
Wendy said that she said thank you. She was driving but still took the energy, and that she feels blessed.
Great. Be careful though when you're driving or using machinery. You shouldn't be doing this. It's not that good, because it can put you out. Anyone else? I keep seeing things popping up.
I'm saying thank you. See you in class tomorrow.
Okay.
Question. Next week's show. Are we going to be on time for next week's show tomorrow?
Yes, I shall be. Where will I be? I should be in New York next week. But Michelle and I are going to be doing a double act. She's going to be connecting here or somehow, and I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to be doing it. Michelle will be in Florida, and I should be in New York. But yes, of course, it's the week before Christmas, right? And we can't miss that.
No,
or is it the
next
week
is
before?
the week before Christmas.
So next week is the week before Christmas. So we will be doing a Christmas show. I'm not quite sure. Do I have a Christmas story for you for next week? I'll have to think about it and let you know. But I do hope you enjoyed my story about my darling Bob, who I so miss and I'm so privileged to have met. And I think that's it. Is that it, Michelle?
Your story made me smile today.
Good. Is that it? Okay. I hope we've inspired you. And please let us know if you require healing or want to be put on the healing list. Please let us know, and we shall do our very best to do that for you. So in the meantime, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you in the morning, 11 Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we should begin taking your questions and fielding your questions and hopefully having a lot of fun. And I think I might have another song for you for tomorrow. You just never know what I'm going to
We didn't sing a song today.
We didn't sing a song today. Shall we sing a song, Michelle? What do you want to sing? What were we singing? We were singing a Christmas song before we came on the show. It's Michelle's daughter's favourite. What was that?
God rest you, merry gentlemen.
Yeah.
Is
Do you
that
want
it?
that one then?
Yeah.
Are you going to sing it with me then?
Kind of.
All of you out there need to sing it with me now. God rest you, merry gentlemen. Let nothing you dismay. It's such an old Christmas carol.
Yeah.
Remember Christ our Saviour was born on Christmas Day to save poor souls from Satan's power which have long time gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. And that's what you must find this Christmas, is the joy. Always find the joy, because life is really, truly, it is full of joy if you know how to look for it. God bless you, everybody, and we shall see you in the morning. And I have to put my finger in the big camera now. It's like, okay. Is it the one in the bottom? Is it the corner?
It's the bottom.
And so we'll see you. Bye.